The name of this video is going to be entitled The Way I See It. It's going to be the way I see how black people think and the contrast between the way white people think. A woman who chased down and killed a 62-year-old black man. 1 week ago on the Roland Martin show, Roland is going to give a commentary, but he's going to have a panel of 3, 2 males and 1 female, black people, giving their opinion on this incident.
A 22-year-old white woman who shot and killed a black man who drove away from the scene of an accident has been denied bond after a dramatic 911 call. The incident was played in court. In May, Kenneth Herring hit a truck and initially waited at the scene, but became disoriented and drove off. Could have been, concussion. Well, Hannah Payne called 911 claiming Herring was drunk and that she was going to follow him. Punk-ass Georgina Zimmerman. The dispatcher told her several times not to follow him, like they told George Zimmerman. Take a listen to the 911 call.
He is drunk. I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you, I'm not going to follow him, because he is going to cause another accident. Ma'am! Yes. Ma'am! He just pulled the trigger of my gun in my hand. Ma'am, you are not supposed to follow him. Ma'am!
Herring was believed to be having a medical emergency, and no drugs or alcohol were found in his system according to toxicology reports. Okay, first of all, she told your dumb ass don't follow him. And then you go, man, he pulled the trigger on my gun. The only way, first of all, this man is dead. He's dead, okay? She's sitting there. I'm telling you, these white folks have lost their minds with how they're operating. They lost their minds.
So while she may not have been right to have followed him and disobeyed an order, that's not criminal. Her defense in this case is going to be that she made a judgment decision in order to try to protect others. And so then there was a struggle for the gun. Whether he was drunk or not doesn't really matter. It's a real tragedy, but she's going to stay in jail. But watch for her defense. It's going to be a very difficult case to prosecute for the local prosecutors.
Michael.
I just think everything comes back to who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. How white folks feel they can treat black folks any old way. And they feel they can do it and there are going to be no repercussions because he's treating the country any old way. So why can't
thought that before?
Yeah.
What you have here again, which is shameful. These white folks want vengeance. Dispatcher says, don't follow. Don't follow. There's no difference when police departments have rules that say, police do not enter into car chases. When that cop goes, forget that, I'm chasing them. Don't shoot somebody in the back when they're running away, not harming you. Oh no, I'm taking them down. That's really what we're dealing with here.
No, this was murder.
Absolutely.
And I don't call her crazy necessarily. Homicidal, yes. And this is where I disagree with you about white fear, because what I believe we see in instances like this is people who are in a controlling ruling class who are emboldened and have no fear.
Yep.
They don't have a fear of law enforcement. They don't have a fear of norms or standards. They don't have a fear of other people. This woman in particular believed that it was well within her rights and her power to chase down a person and pull out a weapon, and now, as Scott said, again, auditioning for the defense.
Now the sister is more on point than these 2 guys right here. These 2 guys right here partial to Caucasians. Now after all these years of them doing the same thing over and over again, some years they do it more. When I say the same thing, I'm talking about the Caucasian, the Caucasoid. killing us ever since I was young, in the 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s, 70s. They've been doing this for almost for 400 years, and we still trying to rationalize what the problem is. So the way I see these two guys here, I see these guys as modern day Toms. Both of these guys, modern day Toms. I think they partial to white women. And I see the sister is on point, more on point than the rest of them. The thing is, we're at war. Been at war. We're not freed slaves. I mean, that's in our resume too, but we are more now subject, prisoners of war, and the freed slave come in way down at the bottom somewhere. See, right now we got trustee status, like, you know, when you go to the jail and you got prisoners and inmates more trusted by the warden than the others, and he make them trustees. Well, that's how he rank us. You know, when you speak and talk and walk, act like him, you're pushed up the ladder of trustee. You may be on the top step. And then if you work labor, you go to work every day, pay them bills, you might be on the second step. Entertainers, they up there on the top step. Politicians, they up there on the top step. And they're in the Caucasians inner circle. You might find a few brothers like myself who they can't figure out until I open my mouth and they know what I'm about. They know that I know that they've been running game on my people, and my people, depending on how they was raised and what influenced their parents. If their old man loved basketball, football, or sports, and he had aspirations to be a sports figure, but he didn't make it, he might pass it on to his son. You know, they want to make it in the white man's world. Most of our people want to get over in the white man's world. Instead of building the world for themselves, they want to get over in the system that the white man built, excluding black people, tricking black people into thinking that, you know, he's their friend. When I was coming up in Detroit, and we know we had gang fights up in here in Detroit, you know, and if a gang from across the track see a girl they like on our side of the tracks, they'll come and pretend like, you know, they cool with us, so they can see that girl. We won't hassle them. See, so they get in good with us first. You know, because if we go on their side of the track, you know, they'll jump on us and kill us, because we didn't have enough sense to get in cool. Except me, I was a little different from everybody else. I had a girl on the other side of the tracks I got in good with her brother, you know, because her brother was very protective. He was the leader of the gangs on their block, you know. So I got in good with him, and then I, you know, started easing over our house. And his crew, they still didn't want me over there, so they was gonna jump on me. I was sitting on the porch, and they wanted to jump on me. But she told her brother to protect me, and he drove me home, see. But one day, I was over there, and they followed me. He wasn't home. And I was over there, and they followed me, you know. And anyway, it was an incident, but I got out of it, you know. I had to do some talking and some fighting, but I got out of it. Well, that's how they used to come on our side of the track, getting good with us, so they could see this girl. Well, that's how the Caucasian do it. He sends a lone person in our culture. Marco Polo was, they say he was an explorer, but he was a spy. Christopher Columbus was a spy, you know. And they get in good with the locals, and even mate with they women, have babies by them. But they end up, after we, you know, get it, you know, after we let them in, they end up double crossing us and killing us. When I was living over on Finkel in Detroit, and the blacks started entering into the neighborhood, whites didn't want us in there, but we all went to school, and we started dominating the school system. And so it was more of us and more blacks a couple of years later in the school than the whites. So some of them still stayed, you know, in the black territory. They couldn't move away. They didn't have enough money to go to the suburbs. So when the school was definitely in the suburbs, in the white part of town, but the blacks had to catch the bus to get in, to go to that school. So when we go to school, the whites try to, you know, terrorize us. I'm gonna finish this story because I ain't gonna have time to finish it up. But my whole point is that if they live close to black people, they got to blend in with them. But that don't mean that they like you. And they'll try to take you out if they get given an opportunity. So that's what's happening now. They know that we are their prisoners. We're gonna finish this up so I can explain it just a little bit more on the next video. Stay tuned for part 2.